Hello, fellow members of the Midnight Society. Welcome back to another episode review from the show Are You Afraid of the Dark? Last time, we covered The Tale of the Twisted Claw, a Halloween story about two boys who were granted 3 wishes with disastrous results. Tonight's story features ghostly possession and a terrifying lesson about responsibility. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this Season 1, Episode 5, The Tale of the Hungry Hounds. We open on Kiki and Betty Ann preparing kindling for the Midnight Society's fire, when suddenly they hear animal noises from the woods. Turns out to just be Frank and Eric making the noises as they, Gary, and David approach with more firewood. David asks where Kristen is. Really? David, please, come on. Buddy, stop acting like you don't know where she is, okay? We've already established that you spy on her, Mr. Secret Birthday Gift. I'm sure you have people keeping tabs on her 24/7.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
David, don't do that.
Kiki responds to David's inquiry with yet another snarky comment about Kristen.
Yeah, after the work is all done, she wouldn't want to break her fingernails.
What the hell, Kiki? What is going on with you? In fact, you know what? Let's not even tell scary stories tonight. Let's all just have a sit down, right? We'll have a little chat sesh, right? Figure out where you're hurting and why.
Forget it, Pee-wee.
Apparently, I'm not the only one that thinks that Kiki is unjustly hostile towards Kristen, as her comment is treated with some instant karmic retribution.
Ouch!
The group then hears what sounds like a hound from the trees. There's a moment of tension before it's revealed that it's Kristen arriving with Elvis.
Take the love that I bring, then I'll have everything.
Elvis is her dog that she has brought to provide sound effects for her story. Although, I'd have been fine if she just brought him to take a bite out of Eric. Kristen's tale begins in an episode of Hoarders. The camera pans through an attic filled with antiques and family heirlooms until we see our main character, Pam, played by a young Mia Kirshner. Now, Mia is the first of a number of actors that we would see on the show who would go on to have much bigger careers later in life. Mia has worked steadily on TV, including such shows as 24, The L Word, The Vampire Diaries, Defiance, and most recently, Star Trek Discovery. Pam's cousin Amy is visiting for the summer, and the two girls are keeping themselves entertained by trying on old clothes in the attic. Nothing says fun like dust mites and moths. Anyway, Pam is marveling at the history of everything in the attic to Amy when suddenly she doesn't get a response. She goes looking for her cousin, who then pretends to be a ghost, using an old wedding dress. Pam doesn't appreciate the scare, prompting Amy to ask if she really believes in ghosts. This turns Pam into a pretentious theater kid as she replies with a quote from Hamlet.
There are more things on heaven and earth that you could ever dream of.
Yeah, no, that checks out. Yeah, I should know. I was a pretentious theater kid, and that sounds exactly like something I would do. Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt the... Hold up. Solid flesh? I think I'm picking up what Shakespeare's putting down, right? Boom! Right there. You want some of that? I got your solid flesh right here. Boom! Right there. You want some, Ophelia? You want some of this? Pam relays how the ghost of Hamlet's father made him do things that he didn't want to do.
Says who? Hamlet. His father's ghost made him do things that he didn't want to do.
I mean, Hamlet wasn't really forced to do anything. And also, I like that she doesn't mention that Claudius killed Hamlet's father to usurp the throne, and it's really a tale of revenge. But hey, we have to foreshadow what's to come somehow.
Nice thought.
Amy says that she doesn't believe in ghosts before a wind sound effect knocks over a box with some papers and an old photo of Aunt Dora and her horse. Amy remarks that Dora looks a lot like Pam. No, Amy looks exactly like Pam because it's the same actress in the photo. Another sound effect freaks Pam out, but the adventurous Amy wants to investigate it. Hold on. Who has an attic this big? I mean, there's like way too much headroom, right? A full door. Lots of space, like someone could live comfortably up here. Even the Maitlands would be jealous, and they had a diorama of their whole town in theirs. Anyway, the sound leads them to a trunk with Dora's name and the year 1963 on it. Amy wants to open it, but Pam protests, claiming that her mother says to let the dead rest in peace. Why is that a thing your mother says? Like, did Pam start like grave robbing at a young age or hump a few corpses? Like, what a weird thing to tell a child. Amy finds a small hole in the side of the trunk and thinks it's a mouse hole, thus explaining the noise they heard from within. Unfortunately, the trunk is locked, preventing her from opening it. Pam's mother then calls the girls away to feed the dog, which, honestly, it bums Amy out, like, way more than it should. Like, seriously, I think she's crushing on that trunk. I mean, it is a good-looking trunk. We cut to another day where the girls are walking outside. Amy's lamenting having to spend the summer there, asking what Pam does for fun. Pam takes Amy over to see a horse. Amy's concerned that it bites, but Pam assures her that he's just a big baby. She then pulls an entire carrot out of her back pocket to give to the horse. Wait, so what if Amy didn't ask about fun? Like Pam was just carrying a carrot around in her back pocket, just in case? Amy's unimpressed by the horse, so Pam decides she's going to try to ride the thing. But her mother pulls up in a car honking the horn. This startles the horse, and Pam is knocked to the ground. Then Pam and her mother have an argument about the danger of horses.
The animals are dangerous. I told you never to go near them.
Wait, so she's not even supposed to go near horses? And she had that carrot stashed on her person like some kind of edible prison shank? We find out that something happened 30 years ago that has made Pam's mother keep her daughter away from horses. And based on previous clues about Aunt Dora from the attic, a keen detective mind will have already figured out what that is.
Take that to the press.
We cut to the girls sitting at a picnic table with a stack of board games, which is rather fitting because Amy is bored as fuck. Not sure if I was cut off because of the expletive or the pun. Anyway, Pam has a Ouija board on the table and remarks that it won't work with just one person. She convinces Amy to do it with her, and what's the plastic indicator thing called? Hold on. Ah, a planchette. Kate Blanchett? Okay, that time I was definitely cut off because of the pun. The planchette spells "let me out." Amy jokes that it might be the mouse from the trunk in the attic. Planchette then gives them a 3-digit number, causing the girls to give each other I wonder if that's the combination to the trunk look. The girls venture back up to the attic, and Amy opens the trunk to discover a jump scare. Stupid vermin. Pam makes a break for it, but Amy convinces her to stay through what else? Peer pressure.
Do it!
They open the trunk to find all of Aunt Dora's old riding clothes sitting on top of some dry ice. Look, I don't know if they were going for a dusty look or ghostly, but it just looks like the trunk is on fire. I mean, I guess that makes sense. How else was the mouse supposed to keep itself warm? Pam is immediately compelled to put on the riding jacket, which activates a fog machine and causes her hair to become salon fresh. Pam has become possessed by the spirit of her dead Aunt Dora. Warning, side effects of ghostly possession may include long whistle, staring, and moving in slow motion. A large round gable vent opens, revealing darkness outside, which Pam walks towards. Amy is confused as to why it's night now, since it was daytime when they entered the attic moments before. Amy follows Pam outside to discover that not only that, but they're also not by the house anymore, but in the middle of the woods. Pam wanders off silently because ghosts are dicks, and Amy, even though she's clearly afraid, follows after her. At a certain point, Amy starts to think that Pam is playing a prank on her, even admitting that she deserves it because she's been a pain. A pain? A pain? Amy, have you met Beth from the Tale of the Lonely Ghost?
Don't touch my stuff.
You are not a pain. Trust me. The girls wander into a graveyard, and Amy gives the best response in perhaps the history of kids' television.
Oh
Look, if I was following Pam, and we came to a cemetery in the middle of the night, I'd be like, I'm out! But Amy's just like, really? We're really doing this? Okay, and she follows her in. Amy looks over the headstones and sees that the graves are all members of their family, dating back up to 100 years. She also reads the following inscription off of one of those headstones.
As you are, so was I. As I am, so will you be.
Okay, so clearly this is the grave of someone who died like real slow. You know what I mean? Like they had one of those like old world diseases, and they just wanted to ruin life for everyone else after them. I mean, who puts that on their tombstone? You're all dead already, you just don't know it. Amy finds Pam standing in front of Aunt Dora's grave. So the ghost just wanted to visit her own grave? That's weird. No, that's weird. It is. Anyway, Pam starts mumbling about a fox who leaves her presence. Amy tries to convince her to leave, but Pam is inhabited by one of those Class 4 full expositing vapors. Pam/Dora, or as I'm going to call her for the rest of this episode, Pam-Dora, recounts the day that she let the fox out of the cage to escape before the hunters arrived. Hold up. Was fox hunting still a big thing in the 60s?
And now for an old-timey history lesson. Fox hunting originated in Europe, originally as a form of pest control. It was brought to America around 1650 as a form of recreation since red foxes were not native to America and not considered a significant pest. In America, it is called fox chasing, and often is the practice to not actually kill the fox during the hunt.
That actually leaves me more confused about the storyline and my ability to do old-timey voices. Amy is becoming less and less okay with the situation, but before she pulls Pam-Dora away, a pale old ghost? Appears. His name is Giles, and he's angry at Dora for dying and not feeding the hounds as a result of it. Yeah, Dora. How dare you die and neglect your chores? Oh, if only you'd fed the hounds before you rode the pale horse, Giles might still be with us today. But seriously, he was pretty old, so he'd probably still be dead. The story ends with Dora going after the fox on her horse, but the horse gets spooked, and they both fall. It would seem that this is the event that caused her death. Apparently the hounds attacked him due to being starved, and while he got away, the fear gave him a heart attack and he died. So no one else thought to put some kibble down before they opened the pen? Or, I don't know, pour the kibble into the pen? Look, this might be the unpopular opinion, but Giles was obviously too stupid to live. Giles chases the girls into the barn where the hounds can be heard barking. The door locks from the outside, and we suddenly cut back to the Midnight Society, where Elvis gets fed a treat.
I ain't nothing but a hound dog, but I could really go for a peanut butter and banana sandwich right now.
David asks who locked the girls in the barn, and Kristen responds with,
It might have been Giles. Or it might have been another ghost from the family graveyard.
Look, Kristen, if you don't know, just say you don't know. You were a terrible liar. Back in the story, Amy is panicking and she tries to find a way out, while Pam-Dora is just fixated on feeding the hounds. Amy tries to convince Dora that she's in her niece's body, but Dora thinks that's just nonsense.
Nonsense.
It's at this point that I become convinced the entire family from the 60s was just dumb. Dora wants to open the pen for the starving hounds to feed them, but she gets no food, instead opting to offer them Pam's body instead. Where is this urge even coming from? Dora died not knowing that the hounds would attack Giles. Has his ghost just been harassing hers in the graveyard ever since then? Amy snaps into action mode and locks Pam-Dora in a stall so she can get some kibble for the dogs. Finally, someone in this family with a brain. What's weird is that she gets Dora to acknowledge that there's kibble, and even tells Amy where it is, but the moment she goes for it, Pam-Dora just breaks out of the stall and immediately goes back into human sacrifice mode. Pam-Dora opens the door and the hounds charge at Amy. The initial shot of the hounds doesn't really look all that threatening. I found myself thinking, puppies!
Oh, who's a good puppy? Who wants to come lick my face? You want to lick my face? You're the good puppy. Who's the good puppy? You're the cute puppy. You're the one.
I like dogs. When the hounds have Amy trapped on the hay bale, they actually do look pretty ferocious. A fox appears and leads the hounds out of the barn, which is now magically open. Amy looks around for Pam-Dora, but she's gone, causing her to venture outside, where she finds Pam-Dora's horse-trained stunt double on a white steed, and they ride off into the night like they're going to go haunt Ichabod Crane or something.
It's all true.
Leaving Amy all alone. Amy makes her way back to the magical gable vent that takes her back to the attic. She's wondering what she's going to tell her aunt about Pam. That's fair. That's fair. Let's be real. There's not a court in the world that's going to buy she was possessed by her dead aunt and then rode off into the night on a white horse never to be seen again. No, Amy would be spending the rest of her days in a sanitarium somewhere. Fortunately, she doesn't have to worry about that because suddenly,
Tell her about what?
Amy wants to get out of the attic, remarking that it's haunted. Pam says, well, hey, she needs to go feed the dogs anyway, and this prompts the two of them to get into the dumbest argument in the history of arguments.
You said I have to feed the dogs.
Did not.
You did too.
Did not.
Did too.
In Amy's defense, she has every right to be weirded out by Pam's statement after what she just went through. I mean, Pam doesn't actually remember anything from the incident, and Amy just opts to keep it that way. Before leaving the attic, she reaches into her pocket and she actually finds some kibble from the barn. Ghost kibble?
Nonsense.
Back at the Midnight Society, Kristen says that Pam tried one more time to get her mother to let her take riding lessons. And it worked! Because her mother was no longer haunted by her sister. How? Dora still died the same way. How was feeding the hounds the thing that made that okay? I could see if the story was horse-related, creating that catharsis, but feeding the dogs?
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Kristen's story ends, and Gary closes the meeting, stating,
And don't forget to feed your dog, or he may have a bone to pick with you.
Now for the review. I don't even know where to start with this one. This didn't feel so much like a ghost story as it did a not-so-terrifying way to scare kids into feeding their pets. It's like the writer got his kid a dog and they weren't taking care of it, so he was like, I know how to fix this. You could have some real fun and chills with ghostly possession, but this was just presented in such a mild way that even Amy, who's essentially the audience, doesn't really come unglued until the physical danger of the Hungry Hounds showing up. Younger me would not have been scared by this episode, though it probably would have made me not want to have a dog. Oh, who am I kidding?
I could never stand mad at you. No, I couldn't. No, I couldn't. Who's a good ghost dog? You're a good ghost dog. Who wants some ghost kibble? You want some ghost kibble? I got some ghost kibble in my...
Oh no.
The child actors in this episode were actually pretty great. Both actresses were older than the usual cast, which honestly may account for the increase in talent. Pam was great at being possessed. Sometimes she would seem lost and vacant, while other times just downright sinister. Amy was also a solid character to follow through the story. She was a tad whiny to start out, but never to the point of being annoying, and honestly I found myself rooting for her the entire episode. Just like the previous episode, there really weren't any adult actors worth talking about. Pam's mom is in one scene and has maybe 3 or 4 lines of dialogue. The ghost of Giles had, I think, even less, although maybe not, you know? I mean, the ghost role is one that I would expect the actor to just be having fun with, or just playing it just so big and over the top. But this guy was rather forgettable. Kristen, I think you know where this is headed. Tale of the Hungry Hounds left me starved. Oh, come on! Stupid pun police. Anyway, Kristen, I'm sorry. Tale of the Hungry Hounds does not meet the approval of the Midnight Society.
Go ahead. Do your worst.
What did you all think of Kristen's story? Did you see it as a kid? What were your favorite tales from the series? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check out the next episode about the tale of the Super Specs. Until next time, are you afraid of the dark?
Oh no.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a share. It really goes a long way to helping us out here. Be sure to subscribe and click that bell icon to be notified when more Midnight Society episodes go up. And we've got a ton of other cool shows on the channel, so stick around. You might find something else you like.